evening and welcome. Tonight we are going to be going over the history and geography of Al-Asima in Kuwait. And sorry for the shadows. I hope they don't bother you. I've tried adjusting everything. This is the best angle for the shot. Unfortunately, you get shadows of my hands. Hopefully you don't mind. Al-Asima. Where is Al-Asima? You can see Kuwait is not a large country. And Al-Asima is Arabic for the capital. Al-Asima is just located right here. It is this section here of Kuwait City, but it also includes a lot of islands, including this island right here. This is Failaka Island, and it has a lot of history. So since that's it for the geography of the area, let's get into the history here. It all really starts here on Failaka Island. Failaka was first settled way back during the Mesopotamian era, and the city of actually used it as a trading post. How cool is that? You know, Iraq's just up here. You can see the area where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers meet. Was right down here. I'm sure it's on the map somewhere, but there's so much writing I can't find it. Oh, it's right there. It's right there. Very, very big, powerful city-state, very famous for the ziggurat, right? The ziggurat of So this was actually part of I think that's so cool. And lots and lots and lots of trading happened here between all the peoples of the area. Eventually, the main people to settle what's now mainland Kuwait would have been the Dilmun civilization, which were kind of like a Mesopotamian-esque civilization. The Dilmun lived all along the coast here, especially down in Bahrain and parts of Qatar. But they were very advanced, and lots of structures down further south of the Dilmun still exist. I don't think there's any in Kuwait City. Eventually, the area would have been taken over by Babylon, and then the Achaemenid Empire up in Persia, and then actually Alexander the Great came through the area and quite possibly stayed in what's now Kuwait City. So this area eventually became Greek influenced, Hellenistic, and then eventually conquered by the Sasanian Empire, the new Persian Empire. So the area would change hands quite frequently, and the one thing that all of these have in common is that Failaka Island really flourished. Many, many people lived here. It remained a big trading center here in the Persian Gulf, and it was thriving. The area over here, it did its thing, but Failaka was where it's at. There's also little tiny islands around it, but they're uninhabited today, so we're not talking about those, but I'm sure those islands were pretty hopping too. There's actually some really amazing Byzantine churches that are being uncovered here on Failaka. So that tells you that this became part of the Byzantine Empire, and they started to build churches there. I think that's really neat. Lots of interesting ruins being found on the island from the Byzantine time period. But of course, all of these empires would rise and fall, and soon the area that's now Kuwait was pretty desolate, except for Failaka. It was always hopping. It was always full of people. It was always a center of trade, and really, really thrived. Once the Portuguese sailed up the Persian Gulf, they established ties with the island, and I think built a fort in what's now Kuwait City. But, it wasn't until the founding of Kuwait City that this area became the modern day version of a hoppin' major city. Kuwait City was founded in 1613, but it was not a city, it was just a little fishing outpost. You can see the Gulf of Kuwait here is absolutely massive, perfect for ships coming in and out, so it was a perfect place to set up a fishing area. Of course, there was a lot of trade happening there as well, and there's also a huge boat building industry here. Eventually, the Bani Utub tribe would come and settle in the area. They were a nomadic Arab tribe, and they brought the Saba family into the area. At the time, the Sabas were in charge of the tribe. They settled down here and said, this is our city now, we're going to live here, this is our capital, and it still is today. The Saba family is still in charge of Kuwait to this day. How cool is that? The city would have its good times and bad times. Industry did pretty well up until the Great Depression of the 1930s, and then it did very poorly. This city was destitute. Failaka, of course, is still hopping at this point, but not like it used to be. This was a very low time in the history of Kuwait, and a lot of countries here along the Persian Gulf, a lot of industries here went kaput. I mean, pearling was huge here. No one's buying pearls during the Great Depression. You know, things like that. Nobody wanted what they had to offer. So that was pretty bad. But the fortunes would change for Kuwait and the Saba family in 1937 when oil was discovered in their waters and in the land here as well. And Kuwait suddenly came into money that way. And especially after World War II, things really started to ramp up in development. Kuwait became very liberal for an Arab country, very modernized for an Arab country. And they gained independence from Britain in 1961 and became their own thriving country. This is definitely a big high point. And as you can imagine, is Failaka hoppin'? Yes. There are now resorts being built here, vacation homes. Failaka is hoppin' once again. If you don't understand my dialect, I'm sorry. That means that it was thriving, it was busy, it was a place to party, it was a place to shop. That's what hoppin' means where I come from. If you don't know. I should probably elaborate on that. Failaka was hoppin'. But the era of Failaka would come to a very abrupt end in 1990. What happened here in 1990? So a few years prior, Iraq up here and Iran up here went to war. And it was a very messy war. It wound up just being a stalemate. Everything went back to the way it was before, except both sides had suffered massive casualties, and Iraq was out a lot of money. They had relied a lot on their little buddy Kuwait here to help fund the war. Kuwait happily helped out their big buddy up here. And now Iraq owed them a lot of money that they couldn't pay back. And Iraq asked for debt forgiveness, and Kuwait said, no, you have to pay us back. It was like $6 billion US dollars, something like that. It was a huge amount of cash, and they said, no, you have to pay this back. We're not going to forgive your debt. There's also the issue of oil wells along here, which Iraq would say, hey, those are actually in our territory, and Kuwait would say, actually, it's not. Like, I know there's nothing here, it's just desert, but no, those are our oil wells. You cannot have them. And Iraq really wanted them because, of course, oil equals money. So Saddam Hussein, the president of Iraq, being Saddam Hussein, invaded Kuwait in 1990 and very aggressively took over the country. And it was bad, guys. It was a very bad thing. Very bad time to be in Kuwait, especially if you lived on Failaka Island. They invaded the island, and let me tell you, they wiped out the island. Everyone who lived there was removed. It was completely depopulated. whole little villages and towns flattened. Iraq wanted to try like a scorched earth policy in the invasion of Kuwait, especially when they were pulling out. And that was very true on Failaka. They completely flattened this island. Anything the Kuwaitis had built, the Iraqis destroyed. So, of course, the other major world powers at this time was like, whoa, you can't do that. And there was a big coalition retaliation against Iraq and Kuwait, and Iraq withdrew in 1991, which Kuwait has bounced back from that extremely well, especially in Kuwait City. It is so incredibly modern and beautiful in this city. The skyscrapers are gorgeous. There's a beautiful Corniche area that I'm going to show you. And it is in this area of Al-Asima where we can find the Kuwait Towers. So I'll show you that on Google Earth, but I know what you're thinking. Asimah Geographica, is Failaka hoppin'? And the answer is a little bit. It's still pretty devastated. I'll show you some interesting stuff on this island, but people are starting to build their vacation homes and resort towns on here again. So it is a place for people to come and relax and enjoy the beautiful island. And of course now there's like museums and archaeological sites here uncovering all of the ancient structures. But not hopping like it was before 1990, unfortunately. So soon, I think, Failaka will be hopping once again. Just give it time. Kuwait City is definitely like hopping. Let me show you on Google Earth. I think you all learned some California slang today if you didn't know that word. So here's Kuwait City. Let me zoom out. You can see right there, Al-Asima Governorate. I wanted to show you guys like the borders here because all of this is Kuwait City. Al-Asima just counts for this part. And you can see Failaka Island highlighted there. Let me zoom out so you can see exactly where we are. You can see Kuwait Bay cutting in there. Such a huge bay. So here we are in the Middle East. You can see Iraq's right up there. The Arabian Peninsula, there's big ol' Iran. If I zoom out, I can show you more. Asia, way up here is Europe, way over there is Africa, and right here in the middle, in Kuwait. So, I have to show you the Kuwait Towers, because not only is it the most prominent part of Al-Asima, it's the most prominent part of Kuwait, like period. It's like their most famous structure. So we head over here. I'm going to turn a little bit just so it's easier for me. The Kuwait Towers, you can see them from above here, but let's look at the pictures. These are actually water towers. These parts right here hold water, and this part up here is an observation deck. So you can see the very, very modern Kuwait City. That's what it looks like from inside. You'll never catch me in that. I'd probably be throwing up. I don't deal well with like man-made heights. Like I can do like cliffs and mountains, but being up against glass, that makes me uneasy. You can see the view of this tower here in the city and the bay. That's a really beautiful picture. And yeah, you can look out and see the city from the tower. Isn't this gorgeous? It really is. You can't see the third one there, just as by here. But like such beautifully designed water towers. And you can see the ground level here is of course the part of the Corniche. So how cool is that? You can see probably lots of little, I'm not telling you about what you can see from there probably. Look at the fog rolling in. That's another gorgeous picture of Kuwait City. All lit up at night. You can grab a bite to eat and look at the city. It also rotates so you can see all of the city. The beach, the trees there along the walk. That's definitely a man-made arch. And yeah, really beautiful little corner of Kuwait City. By far like the most famous. So the Corniche. I'm telling you, is this area here. When I lived in San Francisco, we called our area the Embarcadero. And it's just kind of the coastal walk area full of lots of lovely green areas and art and statues and beaches where you can dip your feet in the water. And it's just a lovely place to spend like a nice afternoon walk, a nice day out with the family. There's lots to do and see, but my favorite has to be right here along the towers. It is the water park. I'm pretty sure when I just covered the country of Kuwait, I showed you guys the water park, but we're going to look at it again. There's the towers lit up so beautifully. And it is a full-blown water park. I think like water parks like these along like the Persian Gulf in particular are kind of a flex because Kuwait has no fresh water. They have no rivers, no lakes. All of their fresh water comes from desalinated ocean water. So, as you can imagine, drought times could be a very severe thing, right? It would affect the entire country. So, to build a full-on water park where the whole point is to just splash with your friends and family in the cool water, the wave pool there, you can go surfing, slide down the slides. That's always my favorite. I love water slides. There's the view from the tower. There's this guy, a lazy river. I think it's a flex as to just how well this country is maintained with its water. Like, drought could always happen, but I don't think there's a lot of fear of it happening. I love water parks. They're so much fun. Totally unrelated, but down in Bahrain, they have a Dil Moon themed water park. That's my dream water park. That's like number 1 on my list. This is definitely top 5, though. I want to go there so bad. Also along the Corniche, we have Green Island, and you can definitely tell this is a man-made island. And it's a beautiful nature area to enjoy beautiful plants out in the desert. There's the coast there. I'm trying to show you like the plant aspect, but it's just showing you shots of the water. But yeah, it's like a full-blown park. These are terrible pictures of what I want to show you. It's just the beach. Beautiful green areas that you can relax and get some shade. Kuwait is very, very hot, especially at this time of the year. I'm filming this in June. This is one of like the hottest times in Kuwait. It's absolutely boiling. So a place where you can get some shade and cool, relaxing water is very, very important. And then of course, once you enter the city, we have the big city center. Beautiful parks there, and it's kind of the like cultural hub. There's the free trade zone, the university. The major heart of the city is right here and appropriately named the capital. Now I know what you all want to see. We're gonna hop over to Failaka Island. Make sure I'm not there. There we are. Failaka Island. So now imagine this place was once covered in beautiful homes and resorts and beautiful beachy areas, right? You can tell that it's not that anymore. But you can see the little outlines of things in progress to rebuild this island and make it into what it was. This is an interesting place over here. The Antiquities of Invasion. This is a war graveyard where you can see all the stuff Iraq had to leave behind. So big tanks all rusted out in the desert, rotting away, but now you can explore them. Big old trucks. You can see like I'm sure that's just paint chipping, but I was like, what if those were bullet holes? Big old guns here. That's like a fuel truck there. The beautiful beach of the island, and you can see Kuwait's just over there. So yeah, you can actually climb up and go inside of these old, he found some guns, inside of these old equipment. You can go inside the tank. I don't know if I'd be brave enough. I would need my tetanus shot first. Look at that. Camels on the beach. That's a great photo. Ugh, leaning on his tank. So yeah, what was once a very devastating part of Kuwait's history is now a place you can take some cool selfies. Let's see, there's a camel farm here. That's exciting. Can we see some cool camels? We certainly can. Oh, what a sweet little calf there. And yeah, so you can tell that this place was literally flattened. That's a cute camel. Literally flattened. This island is now a flat, dry, barren area. But here you can see some places popping up. There's a zoo over there, a little park, a mosque, of course. So this area is slowly but surely coming back. I forget, I thought there were some archaeological sites I can see from Google Earth, but I might be thinking of a different place. Let's see what this is. It's in Arabic. Ooh, maybe this is one of them. Oh, there's no pictures. Just some camels in the background. But yeah, a lot is happening here. It doesn't quite look like it from Google Earth, but I'm telling you, the days of Failaka Island are coming back. So that's where I'm going to leave you for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to zoom out to do the outro. If you enjoyed this kind of content, please consider subscribing. This is an ongoing series on my channel where we're going to every corner of the world. How beautiful. Next, we're going to head to the other end of the Arabian Peninsula and check out a place in Saudi Arabia. And let me tell you, if you think this is beautiful, just wait for the next video. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. I really do hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. I know some sad things happened in Kuwait's history, but that's very much in its past. And I hope that you have a very good